So the other day, I broke Magic Arena with new Pioneers Masters Edition, Master of Waves of all things, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. So Pioneer Masters is finally here. So today we're heading to our new Magic Arena Explorer/Pioneer format to see just how many Master of Waves we can make with Master of Waves Mono Blue Devotion. And I gotta say, I am so excited for this deck because Mono Blue Devotion, one of my favorite archetypes, and Master of Waves, new to Arena with Pioneer Masters, can do some ridiculous things in this deck. So let's talk about the deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, and see just how many Master of Waves we can make. So first off, we gotta start with the mana base, because we're a Devotion deck. So we have Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, the most important card in our deck, which rewards us by making a huge amount of mana for stacking up a bunch of blue mana symbols on the battlefield. So for example, we have Lane of Anticipation, which doesn't just let us play our stuff with flash, but if it's in our opening hand, it just starts in the battlefield. So it's essentially 2 free blue pips. If we ever have like 2 of these in our opening hand in Nykthos, we just get such explosive starts. Then we have a bunch of creatures that do things that we want, but also add blue mana symbols to the battlefield. So Spectral Sailor, Pawn Prophet, Gadwick, draw us cards, add blue mana symbols. Thassa's Oracle, so funny in this deck because we don't really expect to win with Thassa's Oracle. We're just playing it like a weird tutor. When it enters, we get to look at the top X cards of our library, where X is our devotion to blue, put 1 on the top, the rest on the bottom. So essentially, this is a way we can dig for our Nykthos, dig for our Master of Waves, and then Harbinger of Tides, Merfolk, Trickster, Brazen Borrower, removal spells that also add blue mana symbols to the battlefield. So why are we so concerned about blue mana symbols outside of Nykthos? And the answer here is our big new Pioneer Masters payoff, Master of Waves. So Master of Waves is kind of an absurd card for blue devotion. 4 mana 2/1 with Pro Red. It gives elemental creatures +1/+1, and then when it enters, it makes a number of 1/0 blue elemental creature tokens equal to our devotion to blue. So if we have 8 blue pips, this is going to make 8 0/1 elementals, but it pumps that +1/+1. So they're actually 2/1 elementals as long as Master of Waves is on the battlefield, which does mean if our opponent kills the Master of Waves, they're all going to go away too. But even played fairly, Master of Waves can often add enough power to the battlefield to kill our opponent in 1 turn, and we can even flash it in on our opponent's end step if we have Lane of Anticipation. But we're not planning to play Master of Waves fairly. The real plan is Mystic Reflection. So Mystic Reflection, such a cool card. 2 mana instant. You choose a non-legendary creature, and the next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. So this card does 2 things. First, we can use it like a weird removal spell, where if our opponent plays some bomb, we can target our worst creature with Mystic Reflection, and our opponent is going to get a copy of that instead. But the real payoff is how this works with Master of Waves. So the trick is, we Master of Waves with its token creating trigger on the stack, we Mystic Reflection targeting the Master of Waves. So now all the elementals that Master of Waves would make is instead going to make more Master of Waves. So we're going to get 5, 10, 20 new Master of Waves, and each of those Master of Waves are going to make even more elemental tokens. So if we pull this off, we can potentially be adding hundreds or thousands of power to the battlefield all at once to kill our opponent in a single attack. So that's the real plan of the deck. Otherwise, in the sideboard, which we can't use today because it's early access day, but we get a bunch of removal, Cerulean Drake for red decks, Ghost Vacuum for graveyard, counters for control, and that is Mono Blue Master of Waves Devotion for Pioneer. That's our deck for today. So let's jump into the games. Some games and see just how many Master of Waves it takes to win on Magic Arena in 2024. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Need some Magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Time to do some Master of Waving, some mono blue combo devotion in Pioneer. Now that we got Pioneer Masters and actually have Master of Waves on Magic Arena, this hand, no Nykthos. Nykthos is easily our most explosive card, but the hand's fine, right? Get some removal, we can dig for Nykthos with Thassa's Oracle, and we got the big payoff in Master of Waves, should we get to it, and some more mulliganing. I don't know if this is good or bad. It could be bad hands, could be opponents looking for a combo, or something specific. Let's just island goo. Opponent. Oh, all right. Is it a? Well, land goo. Hopefully we can get down this Omen of the Sea to dig for some lands. Ooh, Artist Talent. Oh, maybe this could be Phoenix. Phoenix plays Artist Talent sometimes, right? Well, Omen of the Sea. Thoracle bottom. Glasspool Mimic is a land. It's not a Nykthos, but I don't think we can say no to a land here. Another Thoracle. Well, let's play the Glasspool Mimic as a land. And I think we just route the Thoracle. I think we do need to bounce the art. Ooh, there's Nykthos. Okay, that's good news. We do need to bounce the Artist Talent, but we'd rather our opponent pay to level it up first and then bounce it. Ooh, all right, opponent levels up Artist Talent. Well, that goes kind of perfectly. So now we can play the Nykthos. Doesn't make mana yet. Next turn it should start making extra mana. So we can Brazen Borrower Artist Talent, and then, well, I guess we get in for one first. Haha, winning. So I think we just bounce and play another Oracle. So bounce Artist Talent. And yeah, I mean, so Satha's Oracle, in theory, we can win with it. Although really, it's in our deck to do the, ooh, there's a Mystic Reflection. Well, let's take the combo. All right, opponent. Expedition. Oh, maybe this is a Lotus Field deck. I see. Opponent gets a Lotus Field. Well, I mean, we're going to make a ridiculously huge board, and we will see if our opponent can answer it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 mana. That is exactly the amount we need. All right, so Nykthos. Going to full control mode here. Master of Waves, combo piece number 1. So the thing I love about this deck is we can win fairly, or we can do this. The trick is Mystic Reflection to make all of the next creatures that come into play will come into play as copies of target creature, which will be Master of Waves, which means instead of 6 elemental tokens, we get 6 Master of Waves, which will make 12 elemental tokens. So we get what, 70? 72 8/7s? All right, opponent, show us that sweeper or combo off. You have two options, because I think we have presented lethal, perhaps. And there's the GG, and opponent passes, and we will respectfully beat down for a few hundred, maybe, I'm gonna guess like 500-ish. Let's see, how big is it? Opponent, negative, ooh, 575, even more than I thought, and not bad for, what, turn 4-ish? In this hand, I kind of like just because of the Thassa's Oracles. The Thassa's Oracles, we don't have Nykthos, we don't have Mystic Reflection, but our Thoracles can dig for them. Thoughtseize. Awkward. Taking the Gadwick. Well, land and Thoracle. Do a little digging. Ugh, well, I mean, I guess our plan might just be casting Master of Waves and seeing what happens. Opponent, Schwamp. And even more Thoughtseizing. Well, that's fine. Little did our opponent know we had another Master Waves on top. Hit you down to 15 and Thoracle. I think we just take Gadwick here. So we need another land either way to do the Mystic combo. Opponent, Unstoppable Slasher. So I think we just run out a bad Gadwick, draw a card. This ups our devotion. I think our plan here is not so much to combo, but just to make a lethal Master of Waves, like get enough devotion that we don't even need the combo. Opponent gonna slash us. Oh, we're gonna chump. This mostly hurts because it costs us devotion. We don't need the Thassa's Oracle, but the devotion is nice. Unholy Annex for our opponent. All right, some demon action. There's a Mystic Reflection. Well, okay, new plan. Thassa's Oracle. Tap your Unholy Annex, haha. How do you like the tapped room? And now we can take an island. And we're just gonna pass. We can use this Mystic Reflection defensively if we need to, where we can take in, if our opponent plays like a big demon, we can make it come into play as a Thoracle or something. We're gonna take the hit this time. Down to 9. That's a reason not to plot it there, though. We could plot it and set up for the combo next turn. I'm just worried about something lethal coming down. Warlock class, okay, not lethal. And Liliana. And opponent, gonna draw a card. Drops to 7. I mean, our opponent's down to 7. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just gotta do it. Master of Waves. I mean, even this Fair Master Wave's kind of insane if our opponent can't kill it. Like, it just adds so much power to the battlefield. So even without any synergies, Master of Waves, what, 8 2-1s and a 2-1 itself. So 9 2-1s for 4 mana. That is what makes it good. Also, Pro Red is relevant in some matchup, not this matchup. Well, okay, opponent, the question is, can you kill us or kill the Master of Waves? If no, pretty sure we got lethal next turn. Sadly, we cannot Mystical Reflection at the moment. I mean, if you kill it, all elementals go away. That is the downside, right? It adds a ton of power, but a single removal spell can remove it all. Our opponent can make the 6/6. All right, they're gonna level up Warlock class. Feels like desperate digging for a removal spell here. Opponent mills a Grey Merchant, builds a Duress, finds Gifted Aetherborn. That's not gonna be enough though. We have too much power. I opponent's at 3. The lifelinkers are not gonna say it. There is a blowout here. Like if our opponent, while they're down to 1, if our opponent can kill the Master of Waves in combat and block with the lifelinkers, that could be bad. I think we just run out another Gadwick to trigger the first Gadwick, tap down the Gifted Aetherborn, and opponent. Wow. Mono Black could not find the removal, and the Fair Master Waves gets the job done. Gets the job. I love this deck. Devotion decks that are not mono green Devotion, some of my favorite decks to play, and this one does such cool things. Also some bounce, which is fine. Do not mind having some defense. Cha-cha-cha. Well, Islingo. No Nykthos. Ooh, opponent, a Tuara. Well, let's, Mystic Reflection. Do a little, plotting, or foretelling, rather. Oh, no, is this Lotus? Oh, Lotus Field. So I'm very excited for Pioneer Masters coming to Arena, and for Explorer becoming Pioneer. However, there's a downside to all this, which is, now we gotta deal with Lotus Field combo. Hooray! Oh, such an annoying deck to play against. Opponent, Lotus Field. Sinks a couple lands. Hidden Strings. Untap my Lotus Field. Me. Alright, Vizier Tumbling Sands, sure. Untaps my Lotus Field. Me. And passes. Kind of surprisingly untap that. Usually you want that for your combo turn, but whatever. I mean, there is a... Oh boy. Archdruid. Well, that makes sense. Now we know why they untapped it. Archdruid's Charm. To get a Thespian stage to make even more Lotus Fields. So what I think is going to happen here, opponent's going to take a turn off to copy Lotus Field. We're going to flash him Brazen Borrower, and then we can do Master Waves Mystic Reflection, which is going to give us a lethal board. And then our opponent's going to have 1 turn to win the game. The thing is, with double Lotus Field, their odds of winning the game actually seem kind of high, but we'll see. We'll make them actually finish it, or at least get to a finisher. Master Waves. And in response to the trigger, Mystic Reflection, all of our elementals will be Master Waves. Not even a big one. We don't have that much devotion, but it doesn't matter. Like, any amount of devotion just adds an absurd amount of power if we have the combo. All right, hit you down to 17, and see if we live. I mean, if we live, we win. There's no doubt about, I mean, we have 100 power or something absurd on the battlefield. Like, we win easily if we live, but that's 2 Lotus Fields, and they have the combo power now, thanks to Hidden Stirrings and such. So this is actually like the real Pioneer combo deck, not some weird Explorer or whatever. This is a scary deck, a scary deck. All right, opponent, beside you. Let's see the kill. Oh, that's a bad side. All right, Dark Petition, probably better known as Demonic Tutor here. Gets back the mana, tutors up a card, which is Pour Over Pages. Draw 3, untap 2 lands. So this Pour Over Pages with 2 Lotus Fields actually generates mana, which is kind of the trick of this deck, right? Your Vizier generates mana, your Hidden Stirrings generates mana, your Pour Over Pages generates mana. So with the Lotus Fields, everything becomes a ritual. Opponent. All right, speak of the Hidden Stirrings, untap the Lotus Fields. Emergent Ultimatum, and we scoop it up. Emergent Ultimatum, deterministically a win out of this deck. Time to do some Ooh, we have a Leyline. We haven't Leyline of Anticipation yet. Leyline of Anticipation, very interesting card in this deck. It does 2 things, right? First, free devotion, never a bad thing in a Nykthos deck. Second, it lets us combo in our opponent's end step, which... the nightmare of, like, doing the Master of Waves thing and then the opponent just wrathing. If we're doing it in our opponent's end step, much less of a concern. Pass the turn. We can flash stuff in anyway. Probably just gonna Omen of the Sea. Pawn Prophet adds more devotion. Omen of the Sea, though, digs deeper. Edge Wall Innkeeper. All right, opponent doing some adventure shenanigans. And Love Struck Beast to make a 1/1. Well, Omen of the Sea. Dig for a land. Well, okay. Don't want either of those. We want to Nykthos, please. Nykthos? All right, Glasspool Mimic. It is technically a land. Well, we got to play the Mimic, and we're just going to pawn. Well, probably should have done that instant speed, technically. But we did find a land for next turn. Opponent. Yeah, I got to remember we have a lane line out. No reason to cast up sorcery speed. Lovestruck Beast going to draw a card and get in for one. Yeah, we'll take it. Another ley line. All right. Well, we are going to foretell. We actually do have to do a sorcery speed. We want to get that down because now, if we draw land, we just combo on our opponent's next end step, and it's gonna be sweet. Opponent, send us on an adventure. Okay, opponent's going to adventure our pawn profit with a Bone Crusher Giant. Not the most fun adventure I've ever been on. Are we attacking? Do we have any? Wow, opponent has no fear of the flash. This is kind of a blowout. Harbinger of Tides. Normally 4 mana with flash, but Leyline lets us cast it for 2. Bounce your Lovestruck Beast, and hopefully eat your Innkeeper. You got another Bone Crusher? All right, opponent, another Bone Crusher, sure. So their Edgeable Innkeeper lives. Well, we just want to draw land. If we draw land, this is going to be so sweet. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Nykthos, okay. Nykthos is actually just a land here, but that's fine. So ideally, we just do this on our opponent's end step. The other good news is, I would be surprised if the adventure deck had much non-red removal. So pro-red on the Master might actually be relevant here. Opponent, Bone Crusher Giant. Gonna draw a card. That's fine. Use your mana. Wow, our opponent really has no fear of flash. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone have less fear of flash. I guess you just gotta make them have it. Like, oh, okay. I think it's party time. I think it might be party time. So 1, 2, 3, make some blue mana, I guess, might as well. Full control mode. I think we have to be in full control for this to work right, I'm pretty sure. So, Master Waves. Step 1. Yeah, it seems pretty good, right? Gonna make a few bodies, a few elementals. Mystic Reflection. Target the Master Waves, and now it becomes very good. 4 Master of Waves, Devotion up to 8, and how about 32 6/5s and Swing with the Crew? Who's going on an adventure now, opponent? Who's going on an adventure now? I think our opponent's trying to figure out what just happened to them. I don't think people know this combo exists. We played it in like Modern forever ago, like years ago, right after Mystic Reflection came out. But I don't think people know this combo because no one plays it, and it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good so far today. Opponent says not. Yeah, it is pretty nice. Thank you, opponent. Let's see how much damage we get. This is probably only like 200 or something. Yeah, 176. We'll take it. Master Waves is a messed up card. Wouldn't it be funny if it actually referred to waving? The Master of Waves. Be a good double ley lines busted. Be a good unset card. Well, 2 ley lines and Nykthos is about explosive as a draw can get. We even have the Master of Waves. Yeah, this is gonna be a nutty draw. Unless our opponent has Thoughtseize or something. But this should be insane. We can actually just turn 3 the Master with 5 Devotion next turn if we want. Collective Brutality. Looks like a whiff to me. Actually, 6 Devotion? 7 if we run out Trickster. We're just going to play Spectral Sailor. Well, let's play the Nykthos and go to combat, get in hit ya. Down to 21. Opponent. Lotless Troll. And, oh, opponent's Soul Flaying. I see. Salmon discarded. Okay, that makes way more sense. You don't see Collective Brutality too often, but that makes a lot more sense. 5 mana. We could just draw and wait. Yeah, how do we pass up just adding so much power to the battlefield, though? It's not technically lethal, but that's a lot of power. Gadwick, eh? Do some attacking. I think we're in pretty good shape this time. Hit ya. If our opponent wants to kill an elemental, that is perfectly fine. So opponent, they essentially need to kill the Master of Waves. But even if they do, we can Gadwick for 6 here and just refill our hand. All right, hit you to 10, pass the turn. Opponent, can you kill the Master? Maybe it's Master of Waves because it's just waving goodbye to our opponent's chances of winning. It's been so good. An opponent can't beat the Master. Oh no. Oh, things have been going so well. And now we're gonna get crimmed. Oh, crim. All right, right, we'll keep this. Esper. Oh, the turn 1 leyline. Brutal. All right, so opponent, probably better known as the Asian Avenger, probably better known as Krim. Jace Vryn's Protege. Presumably playing a control deck because, you know, it's Krim. Thankfully, I don't think they added... I know he was talking about wanting to play Dragon, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Dragon deck, because he was telling me that's one of the first decks he wanted to build, because he was complaining that they didn't add Slumgar Scorn. Well, that's it. Bounces Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Opponent gets to do some looting. So I would guess this is an Esper Dragon deck, but we don't have to worry about getting countered by Slumgar Scorn at least. But apparently we do have to worry about Jace. Opponent... Farewell. Come on, Krim. Come on, Krim. We're just trying to make... This is going to be This is going to be a nightmare matchup. I imagine... So we don't have any counters in the main deck, and this is best of one. We have a bunch on the sideboard, but we can't use them, which would be nice. So I imagine what happens this matchup. The reason I think this is going to be very difficult is, even if we do the Master Waves thing, which we have the pieces if we get the mana, Jace returns. You know there's going to be a Wrath or 15 out of Krim's deck, because that's how Krim lives his life. Brazen Power. I think maybe our best plan is to be like a weird, missing this land drop really hurts, to be like a weird mono blue tempo deck, kind of, where we can like flash stuff in and chip in for damage and hope for the best rather than trying to combo. We gotta play this Thoracle just to dig for a land. It hurts. Missing his land really hurts. You gotta take the island. The Spectral Sailor would have been nice, but we gotta hit the mana here. And I knew it. I knew the dragons would be involved. Dragon Lord Ojutai. No attacks. Do we play? Can we play the ley line? Take the Ojutai hit, get down the ley line. The ley line seems really good. Like, being able to flash all of our stuff in seems kind of insane. Although the problem is, if Krim flips the Jace, he's going to be able to flashback the... Dovin's Veto. Going to be able to flashback the Farewell, which is kind of really bad for us. Like, game-endingly bad. Jace does a little Lewin. Get lost. Okay, on the ley line. Crux of Fate discarded. You know our life is going well when Krim is just discarding all of his counters to this Jace looting. I guess we just pass? Actually, let's Harbinger. Let's bounce the Jace, or attempt to. The Jace will flip next activation if we don't stop it, and we need to slow it down at least. And I guess we pass the turn. Untap Shockland. Jace makes its return. Do we bounce it? Yeah, let's bounce Jace. Bouncing end step means at least 2 more turns until it flips, right? Unless it gets countered. We're spending a lot of mana stopping this Jace as we miss land drops. All right, another Brazen Borrower. Well, let's see if we can hit a land with this map. If we don't hit a land, then we can grow this Brazen Borrower enough to interact with the Ojutai at least. Well, we definitely do not want a ley line of anticipation. Well, let's try again. Oh no, you're gonna kill it now? We need this land. If we hit Nykthos, that's the power of Nykthos. Yeah, there's another get lost. The power of Nykthos is it can jump us back up ahead in mana, even after missing all these land drops if we can find it. Oh, I really need to leave up interaction, but we need the land worse. We're gonna risk it. Land map. Oh, okay. We hit our land drop. It was a challenge. It took 3 maps, but we got there. Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. Imagine that. We have another Brazen Borrower. So I guess we petty thief that Jace again. Oh, there's Nykthos. How do we play around the counters, though, is the problem. I mean, we got to play the Nykthos. Pass. I think we just take this turn to develop our devotion. We can, like, double Brazen Borrower. Yeah, Jace returns. And then hopefully next turn we have the mana to do something sweet. Well, all right. Brazen Borrower. And a Brazen Borrower. I mean, our devotion's up to 8. That's good. Now what do we do? Wow, double Nykthos. Okay. Well, we went from behind on mana to very ahead in mana. So we can make 8. Is there a way we can win with Thoracles? Because remember, normally when we Master of Waves to copy Master of Waves. But we can copy any non-legend. So let's make just a little mana. Just a little mana with the Nykthos. Play a second Nykthos. I think we're going to try it. Let's Master of Waves. So we can Master of Waves. try to make a bunch of Thoracles, which I don't know if it actually wins us the game. I don't think we have quite enough devotion, but I'm actually not sure. I don't know. I've never had 9 Thoracles enter at once before. So yes, copy the Thoracle. Worst case, 9 Thoracles gives us insane mana for this Gadwig. Oh, come on, not more. So many get lost. I mean, I guess that's the power of looting with Jace every turn. Well, all right. So I guess we do a little Gadwicking. I think we're actually just gonna go X3. Probably should have tapped Nykthos in response to that removal spell. That was a little punt. I think we go X3 to be able to pay for a get lost. Well, another Gadwig, another Nykthos, another Thoracle. So I think our devotion would have been what? We get 18, 19, we would have had like 30 devotion. We were actually, I think, close to winning if that Thoracle line worked. Well, it didn't hit you down to 5. The problem is, we know how this ends, right? We finally did not answer the Jace. So now the Jace can flip, it can flash back the Farewell. And then we go from all the mana, all the things to none of the mana, none of the things, which is pretty sad. Come on, flashback that. Oh, I forgot. Crim plays so many Wraths, he didn't even need to flashback one of the many he was discarding in hand size. Instead, he will just cast one from hand. I mean, Crux of Fate is good when it doesn't kill your dragons. Normally not a very good Wrath. Jace ticks up. And a Ghost Vacuum, not relevant against us, but sure. I guess we pass for now and do some Merfolk Trickstering. I mean, Crim's down to 5. 5. That is not a lot of life. If we could only, man, sneak in 5 points of damage somehow with these flash creatures. Unfortunately, the Tricksters are only 4 damage. I think we are going to make this Ojutai lose its abilities at least, so it doesn't draw. Ojutai's command, I guess that is fitting, considering it's Ojutai we're trying to target here. Well, Merfolk Trickster number 2. No abilities for you, Ojutai. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have enough power to actually kill it. But at least it doesn't get to anticipate. How can we possibly get out of it? Maybe if we resolve the Gadwig. We have 2 more turns until we die to the Ojutai. So if we can resolve a big Gadwig. Ojutai is actually super annoying. Gadwig is good at tapping things down. It's just not... Ojutai gets around it with its hexproof ability. Now let's play another Thoracle. Do some digging. Do any of these cards help us? I guess we can take another Gadwig? I don't know if just drawing more cards gets us out of this, but the other problem is the Jace flashing back Wrath thing is still a thing. Actually, multiple turns in a row at this point. Well, we're gonna Gadwig. Gadwig X3. 3 steps ahead. Sounds like something Crim would have. So we draw the Gadwig, but that doesn't do anything. Oh, so close. Here comes the Ojutai, gonna draw a card. Dragons popping off. The power of playing Infinite Wraths. This is, oh god, okay. The useless Slumgar. But like, I got Slumgar in my deck. I want to play the Slumgar. But we were dead anyway. There's no possible way out of this, right? Yeah, let's, Leyline. How do you like us now, Crim? How do you like us now? We can, no, come on. You know what? We're gonna pay and scoop. Crim. Crim doing Crim stuff. We are doing some Mono Blue Devotioning, some Master of Waving. Ooh, up against Gab. Yellow Hat MTG. Well, we get to start with some Flash. Scarily, we only have 1 land. Ooh, all right. Magic Gods coming through with the MDFC. Another Triome. So this has to be some sort of like Domain, Niv Delight. Now that Bring Delight's a thing. Fable of the Mirabreaker. Sure, that can resolve. Get down the Pond Prophet. How about a Nykthos? Just a Nykthos? All right, we'll take an island. That's fine. And an island. I think we just pass. We can flash stuff in anyway, so we might as well pass. Yeah, I don't know how this matchup goes. So we don't have the Master of Waves. We might be able to find one with the Oracle. We can bounce the Goblin. Don't really want the extra mana, but I also don't really want to spend the Brazen Borrower on the Goblin. We're gonna take it, sure. Treasure away, treasure away. And Niv Mizzet Reborn. Well, let's go do some shenanigans here. Secret hidden mode of Mystic Reflection. Your opponent plays a bomb, and there's a creature on the battlefield. Target that creature with the Mystic Reflection. So I think we just give our opponent another goblin. Much better than a Niv. Much better than a Niv, if I do say so myself. Like, the goblins are still a problem, but not as much of a problem as that Niv drawing 10 cards would be. Plus, we get to bounce one of them. Pass turn. That does cost us one of our combo pieces. Maybe it won't matter, though. Maybe we can just get enough devotion that Master of Waves just by itself is enough. Getting in with the goblin. We're just going to take it. We could flash in the Thoracle and block, but I think we'd rather just wait. We can still Brazen Borrow if we have to. I don't really want to Brazen Borrower up the Beanstalk. Yup. Don't really want to Brazen Borrower the Reflections of Kiki Jiki just because then you get to play the Saga side again. Untap land and Yarion. Well, all right. Let's Thoracle. Let's find Nykthos. No Nykthos. Well, okay. So we're going to take a Thoracle so we can try again. That does mean missing our land drop this turn. Although hopefully it's fine. Let's get in with a 2/2. Hopefully it's fine because if we can find Nykthos, it's going to make up for missing this land and then some. Is there a world where we can just win with the Master of Waves? That's the question. Yarion. Oh, this is kind of awkward. If they blink the goblin, it's going to come back as a Niv. So now I think we probably got a Brazen Borrower the goblin. This is a Niv that can come back down next turn, but we've had a lot of weird ways of trying to keep this Niv off the battlefield. We're doing it on hard mode rather than just countering it or killing it. All right, blinks of Fable, blinks up the Beanstalk, but we're gonna flash in Thoracle. Nykthos. There's a Nykthos. Oh, well, and now we see. Now we have all the mana in the world, which is great. So Nykthos, this could be enough. We have so much mana that on our opponent's end step, we can just Nykthos, Leyline Brazen Borrower, Master of Waves, make a ton of tokens, see if it lives. A little worried about like Leyline Binding would get us. Any non-red removal spell would get us. Opponent attacks. Well, we're gonna double block with the oracles here. At least we can get rid of the goblin. I don't think Gab knows how close he is to dying. Like, I don't know if you expect. The Leyline's got to be, wow, Sunfall. Okay, that is actually kind of fine. It is going to mean we got to combo a little earlier than we wanted, but we make 10 before we lose our board. Oh, this does cost us a lot of devotion. Are we still going to have enough? So board gets Wrath. Flash in the Leyline. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that might still be enough. Ooh, untap land down to 12. And passing, well, Brazen Borrower. And last card, Master of Waves. Can you kill it? Can you kill it? That is all that matters. Master, devotion at 7. Make what, 16 power of 2/1s? We win through the incubate. That's not gonna stop us. Can you kill the Master? Can you kill the Master? Kolaghan's Command, it's a red card. It kills the Brazen Borrower to reduce our devotion. Good news is, that is still enough. That is Xaxes. That is Xaxes, Master of Waves. Taking down the new hotness, Brain Delight, or Niv Delight. And that was a tough but a good one. It is time to do some Master of Waving in Pioneer. Explore, I guess, technically. I think, okay, let me know in the comments. This is something we've been debating. Now that they've released Pioneer Masters, should they just call the format Pioneer? We do need to find some blue mana. Should they just call the format Pioneer? I vote yes. I think there's a, we're gonna suspend this Mystic Reflection. I think there's a pretty good argument that the answer should be yes. Fight rigging. So the argument against is, it's not real Pioneer because we still don't have all the cards. Man, we're doing nothing until we hit a land. That's argument against. You don't have all the cards, it's not real Pioneer. I can see that side. The other argument is, they just released Pioneer Masters. Releasing Pioneer Masters on only Arena when Pioneer doesn't exist is very strange. Let's bounce this fight rigging. Come on, land. We just need a blue source. So I don't know, let me know what you think. Oh, boy. We're getting Nykthos punished. That is a downside of Nykthos, is it is a colorless land naturally, so Ooh, spicy. Always unexpected. Oh yeah, I love unexpected results. Opponent, unexpected results hits a land. Bad news, it's a land. Good news is it goes back to hand. Good news for us is we finally hit land number 3. So we now have half the lands is our opponent. Although honestly, with Nykthos, it's not. We might actually have more mana than our opponent next turn after missing like 4 land drops in a row. All right, unexpected results into fight rigging. That was kind of unexpected. Yeah, Nykthos is an absurd card. I think Nykthos, it might be the most powerful land printed in the modern era of Magic. Field of the Dead might have an argument for it, but Nykthos is so insane. I'm still surprised they made it. Like, it's a card that you don't see them making in modern Magic. Well, let's get down the Thoracle, find another land. So Nykthos is +1 mana at the moment. Hatcha. The ley line's gonna be huge here. Being able to like leave up our minimal interaction, but still flash in stuff to add devotion is kind of huge. Sure. We just don't want the fight riggings to go off, so we're gonna have to do a little bouncing here, unfortunately. Kind of awkward because it can return and trigger again, but double fight rigging here would be so scary. Bounce a Ballborn Tyrant. We have the Brazen Borrower, Pawn Prophet, draw a card. All right, well, another Brazen Borrower. Actually, not the worst here. Oh, I think we're gonna play it as a land. That's actually a tough one. I think we gotta play it as a land to hit our land drop, but there is an argument to holding it. Sylvan Primordial. Well, that's gonna blow up our Nykthos, and then we lose. Yeah. So, make some blue manas. Oh, yeah, we can't afford to lose this Nykthos. We go down to 4 mana. That's so bad. Run in Leyline. And then, yeah, we're just gonna give you a Thoracle. Mystic Reflection on the Thoracle. Sylvan Primordial, not quite as scary. Our opponent does get to set up the top of their deck, but we get to keep our Nykthos, which is the real takeaway here. And we're gonna run out this Harbinger. No value, but it adds blue mana symbols. So we're up to what, devotion 10? Well, 1, 2. So what we'd like to do here is just max Gadwick into another Nykthos. That would be the best. Well, Gadwick for 7. Nykthos. Okay, 2 more Nykthoses. And now we have, what, 13 mana during our opponent's turn? And the Gadwick can start tapping things down, which is also relevant. Let's discard an island. Yeah, Gadwick with Leyline's kind of wild. Mystic Reflections are so good. Well, let's make a little blue mana here. And what is our worst creature? What is least harmful on our side of the battlefield? You know what? We're gonna play a Brazen Borrower anyway. So let's flash in Brazen Borrower. Tap down the Thoracle. Mystic Reflection on the Brazen Borrower. Opponent. Nice Kalta you have there, Fred. Is Mystic Reflection actually just busted? I mean, it's obviously insane when we combo with it, but apparently it's insane when you make your opponent's creatures turn into your bad creatures. The upside of playing so many bad creatures, have we assembled lethal here? I think we might have assembled lethal. Yeah, I mean, that is the power of Nykthos. When you have so much mana, you dump your hand. Opponent gonna trigger the fight riggings. Not that it really matters here. An opponent passes. We will go to combat. Swing with the crew and through the Galta and the Sylvan Primordial. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, Leyline, Master of Waves, and the Mystic Reflection. So other than a Nykthos, Warlock class, other than a Nykthos, this is kind of the dream. We got the full combo. We can flash it in. Opponent gonna level up their Warlock class. So I assume Mono Black Devotion. When we've played Mono Black Devotion, that's been the one deck where I play Warlock class. So I would guess it's probably Mono Black Devotion, but we'll see. Mills, removal in a land. Yeah, we'll play the island and the Pawn Prophet. So draw a card. Oh, yeah, probably should have flashed it in, huh? I get too excited about drawing it. Oh, and holy Annex. All right, opponent also wants to draw some cards. Well, tap land and get in for 1. Hit you down to 17 past the turn, and we will foretell a Mystic Reflection. Oh, we just need the Nykthos. If we find the Nykthos, this hand's about to pop off. This hand's gonna be really good if we find the Nykthos. Also, ooh, Whip of Erebos, spicy. Spicy. Well, there's an island. Sadwick. Sadwick, draw 1. It's a tap land. Oh, these. As good as Glasspool Mimic can be, the tapness of them is kind of obnoxious. Like, if it wasn't for this being tapped, we'd be able to Master Waves, Mystic Reflection next turn. Ooh, opponent has Nykthos. That's unfair. You're gonna make so much mana. Who printed this card? What were they? Who would ever play such a busted card? Ritual Chamber gonna make the big demon. Oh, okay. Okay, I mean, I love Nykthos. Nykthos is great. I'm so glad they printed this card. What sort of scholarly gentleman would put it in their deck? It is cute that we could Harbinger of Tides and use Gadwick to tap down the demon to get rid of it. So you have 7 mana. Let's do the thing. So run out the Master Waves. Tap down the demon. In response, Mystic Reflection. Can we do this again? Oh, this is gonna be so hilarious. Okay, Master of Waves. They all trigger. In response, Mystic Reflection. Oh, we're gonna like token limit Master Waves. Oh, this is so good. Oh my God. So good. All right, 16 Master of Waves. This one's gonna make 32 Master of Waves. The next one's gonna make 64 Master of Waves. We have made more Master of Waves than there are stars in the sky. I've never double Mystic Reflection before. I hadn't even considered that possibility. Like, 1 Mystic Reflection Master of Waves is always enough to end the game. I think we might have broke Arena though. Have we summoned Greg? I think the power of Master Waves, it might be too much. I don't know if Greg works early access day or not. We're about to find out. Guess I didn't think through how much this multiplies, because the first one resolves, which has a bunch more blue mana symbols. So the next one resolves, which is more blue mana symbols. And then Arena breaks. Oh, Greg! So what did we learn this week about Mono Blue Master of Waves Devotion in Pioneer? And record-wise, we went 12-4 overall, although honestly, early access day, best of 1, can't read too much into the record, but our record was legitimately good with the deck. The more important thing is, the deck actually felt really solid. We got to see some super explosive draws with this deck. Not only do we get a lot of fair kills, right, where we'd have a ley line, flash in a Master of Waves, attack you for lethal, like Master of Waves was just really good overall, but we got to see some absurd combo kills with Mystic Reflection, including straight up breaking Arena by making so many Master Waves that Greg had to come out and Arena just simply couldn't handle it. Other thing I wanted to mention about this deck, so we've played decks like this in the past, like in Modern years ago. The big new addition to the deck that is actually super good is Pawn Prophet. I know Pawn Prophet doesn't look like much, but just being a double blue creature that also ETBs draws a card is exactly what this deck wants. So it's actually a huge addition to the deck. So anyway, that is Master of Waves Devotion for Pioneer. That's our deck for today. That's how you can break Arena during early access day with a mono blue 4-drop. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.